to Anaheim. Cheers, let them know we're here.
Good Monday morning to each and every one of you, and a happy Labor Day weekend. Hopefully, all of you are able to stay home and celebrate your Labor Day weekend and maybe hang out and have barbecue today or something like that. Um, who knows? Whatever the plans are, right? Just to get the day off would be nice, right? And cut this hot week coming up short. Good Lord. Have you seen the temperatures that are coming up, especially if you live in the valley areas? Oh boy, it's going to be a rough one. Summer's not over yet, that's for sure. So we're still going to be heading through that. It's oh boy, yeah. I was looking at the temperatures this morning and not looking forward, especially for someone who works outside. Anybody out there that knows what I'm talking about, you understand. Anyway, I hope you guys had a great weekend. I hope today is that as a last great day, an extension of that weekend, and hopefully everything is good and all is well. Um, looks like we're coming off of looks like oh yeah, thrilling win last night for USC for the Trojans in Vegas. That was something to watch. That was fun. We had some have some definitely football coming up. We got some fantasy football stuff coming up. I know my fantasy football league is drafting later on today, and that's going to be a lot of fun. I think for me, it's just going to be hanging out with the family. I think that's just going to be it for today. Maybe have some make some good breakfast today, and when everybody wakes up, of course, I'm the only one awake right now. This early, nice and cool morning. But yeah, just start the day off right. Watch some movies, hang out, do nothing. Those are the best days, right? Who wants to barbecue? Not me. I'm a horrible cook too, by the way. I'll make you some pancakes and some waffles, but that's about it. Oh boy. But anyway, heading on with our Angels. Well, first, before we do, let's get down to business. Noble Ale Works, just outside of Angel Stadium. We've got 714 tickets just out of Angel Stadium, but you can, of course, handle that online as well. And then we also have Mezzo Calzones, just outside of Angel Stadium. All three proud supporters and sponsors of Halos in the Infield, your number one destination for all things Angels baseball. Head on down to each and every one of those and go ahead and mention HITI, Halos in the Infield, and get some great discounts just by mentioning our name. That's how powerful we are. Absolutely powerful. Our very own Platinum Triangle, 714 tickets, Nobles, and Mezzo. Mezzo, by the way, excellent food. Head on down there if you're in the mood for some especially calzone. Whew, some calzone. Get on down there. Great stuff. Noble Ale Works. You want to grab some good craft beer if you're a beer drinker. Head on down there. Great setting, open area. um, it's kind of like a warehouse building. It's got bay doors that open up, a lot of nice air and breeze through there. It's nice and cool. Kick back, enjoy a drink, relax just before the game or afterwards if you like. Just make sure that you're safe driving on the way home or have someone who doesn't drink. Anyway, where do you stand as an Angels fan? I know where I stand. Where do you stand? I would like to know. Of course, I'm going to ask you to please leave down the comments and let me know how you feel about your fandom with our good old Angels. Are you done for the season? Don't see anything good happening in the foreseeable future? Will you take them seriously when management starts to take them seriously? Or no matter what or how bad they get, you're going to be right there in the stands rooting them on. And you know what? I honestly, and I've heard even worse than this, which we'll get into in a bit. But I'll be honest with you, I kind of agree with all of these. I myself have been a fan my entire life. I wouldn't dare even think about leaving this team or stopping, to root for them. There are some fans that just aren't as diehard as myself and others that we know, especially the ones here on this, the fans here for our program. Um, but they may want to move on to another team that's a little more entertaining, a little more fun to watch. They don't see anything happening in the future here. They don't want to waste their time and money on a franchise that's it just doesn't nothing looks good down the pike. It just looks, you know, depressing, not fun. This is the type of pain that only a true fan can endure. So if you're not a diehard and you're one of those guys that are like, you know what, I'm gonna just spend my time and money elsewhere. I get that too. I understand that. I I'm not that way. I've been a fan too long. I can't just give up on this team. There's no way. I'm hoping anyway, God willing, that I outlive Artie Moreno and see new management and hopefully uh, get some better results. But I get it. If there's some flyby fans that are just they were fans of the team because of the area or the team name, or they just kind of started rooting for them, or maybe since 2002, or and the early 2000s, I get it. You don't see anything good happening anytime soon. Your money is important to you on how you spend it and where you spend it, and you just don't see it making any sense to spend money on a team that's that just doesn't look like it's going anywhere. So understand that. Not for me, probably not for most of you, but there are people out there. There are a lot of fans out there that are that way, and I get that. But as far as not seeing anything in the future, I in the near future, no. And part of the reason to that is the uncertainty of what this team is actually doing. I have absolutely no clue what their plan is on what they have. All I have is what they've stated in the past and what they've talked about, and it's really a whole lot of nothing. They don't give us much to go by. So that's kind of a gray area, if you will. Um, will you take them seriously when management starts taking them seriously? Now, is management taking it seriously? If they are, they're really bad at being serious. they're they're really that's what it seems like to me anyway. And if they were serious about this team and how it's going, you would see them communicating with us a little bit better, I think. If I was serious about this franchise, I would be worried about one, of course, the product out on the field. Two, merchandise sales. I'd be worried about that as well. This is if I'm the owner, or one of the head managers. I'd be worried about all these different aspects, but I would be definitely worried about that. Ticket sales, stuff like that. Of course, that's going to be a worry. This is your product. This is your business. It is a business, as we're fans of it. These guys are trying to find ways to make as much money as they can to keep this business alive. It's a very expensive business with the contracts that are out there nowadays. It's insane. With Shohei Otani, what he got, that number is just going to rise. We've all seen it. It'll get bigger and bigger. And I would say within maybe 10 to 15 years, maybe even sooner, we'll see our first $1 billion player, which is insanity to me. But I'm not going to doubt that. I see that happening. Anyway, I'm sure we all do. By the way, sorry, I'm sure you've all noticed you're not really looking at me right now. You're looking at this really demented looking cartoon version of myself. But I had some camera issues with the computer here. I don't know what's going on. I got to check it out. But I didn't have a lot of time to really get into it. So I'm going to have to go faceless, which is a benefit for each and every one of you. So you get to look at the crazy face as I'm talking. But anyway, um, yeah, and there's the fans that no matter what happens, no matter what goes on, doesn't matter. The team is on fire and just burning to death. You're gonna sit there and root for them. I get that too. When Mickey Moniak hit that home run, what was that? Was that Saturday? I exploded in the car. I was in the car. I had to go to the store. I put it on the radio so I could hear it while I'm driving. And he's up to bat, and he just smacks it out. I could hear it in Terry Smith's voice. Man, did I get fired up, you know, screaming out the window. Everyone's looking at me like I'm an idiot. And I am an idiot because I'm getting so excited about a game that probably doesn't matter in the season. But, it's exciting and you want them to do well. So no matter what, I'm going to be right there yelling and screaming for them. I love them. It was a cool, really cool win. Very exciting, very fun to watch, uh, and great to listen to in my case. But, that's where I stand kind of with them as well. Like I said, I kind of agree with all of these. But as of now, the Angels stand 57-80 with like what 25 games or so left. I think it's 25 games. Will they reach 100 losses? I don't think so. I predicted that earlier this year, probably about 3 or 4 months into the year. I thought these guys are going to lose. This is going to be the first franchise. I'm sorry, this is going to be the first team in our franchise history to lose 100 games. I really felt like that was going to be the case, but I was wrong. Kind of glad. Didn't want them to go that far, but it looks like they put some wins together. They strung some wins together here and there. They had some bad uh, um, losing streaks as well, but I think it is more possible for them to beat their most games lost record. Now, most games lost with the Angels was back in 1968, 1980 for the California Angels, where they had 95 losses. Now, can the Angels reach 96 losses? I think so. You're looking at 16 more losses in the next 25 games. I think that's a little more feasible for them. Uh, they've had what a couple, two or three. I think it was two 6-game losing streaks and a 7-game losing streak. And don't forget, this is the same team that has their longest losing streak record not too long ago with 14 games back in 2022. It was between May 25th and June 8th. That was a bad one. I'm sure we all remember that. It's still fresh. So they are definitely capable of reaching that goal. If you look at that, but hopefully not. But we'll see. For some reason, this team seems to be, or the management seems to be building for postseason hopes or moving towards that direction. I know people are talking about rebuild, but the franchise hasn't officially said that. They haven't really even embraced a rebuild notion or anything like that at all. Other franchises have gone through these rebuild cycles in the whole time. I think since we've been trying to build a team since 2014. It's crazy. But I think the general manager Perry Manassian, or how we like to call him, Potassium, here at Heedy, um, he has said that the Angels are trying to build a winning club, and they don't plan on trading Mike Trout, which I get. That's the face of your franchise. That's your moneymaker right there. Everyone wants to see Mike Trout play. He's been kind of a non-issue because of all of his injuries. But if he had a full, healthy season, we'd have a lot of fans' butts in the stands rooting for him to watch him play. We want to see him succeed. We want to see him explode and be the old Mike Trout that we once known. Will that happen? Who knows? I don't know. Maybe, but it's never going to happen if he keeps getting hurt. So that's been an issue with them. So trading Mike Trout, I think that would be a absolute sure sign of this team tearing down and rebuilding. So I have a feeling they just aren't looking into that. I don't know. I mean, writing off Rendon's record and getting him off the team and just saying, here's your check, get the hell out. Trading Mike Trout to get as much players as you can to add to your team. That would be a rebuild, a true rebuild from the ground up as far as your team goes. I think the team needs a true rebuild from their minor league system up. I think they need to really look at their scouting. They really need to look at how they're home growing their farm league. It's that is the backbone of your franchise, and our backbone is really weak. So I don't think you can't compare us to teams like even I hate lifting them up or talking positive about them, but you look up the freeway to the Dodgers and their farm league and their um, scouting is incredible. They do a fantastic job, even on their down years. They just know how to rebuild that team. They just know how to pluck from the players that they need and how to grow them. And we used to do that. We don't anymore. So we definitely have failed in that aspect of the franchise, and I think we really need to have that rebuilt and reimagined, and we need to look at other franchises and see what they do, how they handle it, and it looks like Artie's gonna have to just relearn how to run that part of the business. Now, is that an interest of his? Maybe not. I think he's thinking of just throwing more money at more free agents and trying to bring people in that way. Is that what Perry Manassian's thinking of doing? Maybe when he went and grabbed all those pitchers, maybe that's what he's thinking. Maybe that's what he wants to do. Uh, how much control does Perry Manassian actually have, though? It doesn't seem like he's the guy calling the shots. I don't know. I'm not in there. But if you ask any Angels fan who's been keeping a close eye on this team, it doesn't seem like he is. Um, we like to call Manassian Artie's puppet. I've made a couple pictures of that as well, joking about that. But is he really? Is he does he have any control? Is that why he's been extended for a couple more years? Because he's the guy that kind of just falls in line with what Artie wants and needs? I don't know. It really looks like that. And that's a shame because we need someone to take charge of this team and build this team properly. You see guys in other sports, you look at someone like a Jerry West who has just taken complete control of how the team's identity is going to look like on the court, or what the team is going to how the team's going to gel together. He just knew what players to put together and how to build a team. And every team that man seems to go to, he builds success there. He just knows what he's doing. And we, as a baseball team, different sport, but same idea, just can't seem to get it together in that realm. And I think a lot of that has to do with our GMs not given full control. You bring in a professional that's going to be a general manager of your team, and you're going to say, "Okay, hey, look, I'm giving you the reins. This is it. What's your outlook on how this team should be built? What do you think?" And right there is where you decide, as owner, okay, I think we're on the same page of what we both want, and let him have it. Give him his contract. Let him do it. He falls on his face and fails. You get rid of him and you move on. He starts to succeed. You see progress. The team's being built. The fans are going to see that. And in baseball, it could be a very slow process sometimes. Sometimes it's a quick turnaround. Depends on the players. But you see progress in your team. The fans see that. You're like, hey, look, we got holes here, holes there. We got a lot of young guys. But man, do we got some guys coming up from AAA that really look like they're going to help us out here. That's all positive, good stuff. And when you do go through a very, rough season like we're going through right now, you tend to look past all that and you're looking towards the future as far as, okay, look, we're going to be here in a couple of years. Now, I've heard a lot of people say that now, and I don't understand where they're getting their information from as far as like, hey, in a couple of years, we're there. Oh man, I can't wait for 2026. I I see us talking about the same stuff right now in 2026. My only hope is less injury. I don't, as far as building personnel and getting this team out on the field with successful player, I just don't see that happening. I don't see it working. I don't think these guys have a clue of what to do when it comes to that. And my fear is they're just going to start throwing more money and we're going to end up with another Rendon contract, which is really worrying me. I think they're honestly looking at that. I think they're honestly thinking, okay, this next offseason, the fans are going to be happy because we're going to start flashing some money around. I'd be a lot happier to know that they are focusing on our backbone, and that would make me feel a lot more comfortable for the future. It's frustrating. It's frustrating to see that, but you know, their trade deadline strategy was a failure, in my opinion. They chose to keep the foundation intact. They didn't rip away pieces or anything like that, as far as tearing it down completely, like I just talked about. Um, that would have been a nice indication of, okay, look, we're tearing it up. We're starting over. We're starting from scratch. I would have totally accepted that and would have loved to have moved forward, but didn't see that at all. Well, keeping Anderson, I thought was a mistake. We should have traded him while he was playing so well and got something for him, and possibly out of that a player that sticks and we could add to our young core. That would have been a plus. Now we're just going to have him write it out and he'll be gone and nothing once again. And that goes back to on a greater scale with what goes back with Shohei Ohtani. They were trying to stick in the postseason race when we all knew that's not where we were headed. Even with Ohtani powering off home runs and pitching well, we're not gonna get there. You can't do it with one player. You just can't in baseball. It's impossible. There's only so much one guy could do, and that guy's pitching and hitting. And there's not much you could do. So you have this phenom, which who would have been awesome to keep on the team, of course, with a healthy Mike Trout. Now you're talking, but that's not the case. They were both injured on and off, especially Mike Trout. And Shohei Ohtani, his value was too high. We now know Artie Moreno's not pursuing him hard enough, I guess. But there's probably a price he had. He probably offered it to him and he's going to get a bigger offer somewhere else. But now that Artie knows that, why are you going to let this guy go? Why did they not trade him and try to get something? Even if we got one young player out of whatever bundle we got from him, that would have been something more than nothing. And that to this day bothers me on the decisions that these guys are making. I don't understand it. It doesn't make. I can't find one situation or scenario that makes sense of just letting Shohei Ohtani go. You know, it just It were there no takers? Absolutely no team at all that wanted to make a deal for Shohei Ohtani? I mean, they could have brought him in to help them get move forward in their season for that year and let him go. But was no one I mean, did no one want to play that part of it? I don't know. So it's rough. But it would be nice to know if our management would talk to us and let us know, like, hey, look, there were no options out there. Nobody went. That's what happened. Okay, we'll take your word for it and we'll move forward. But no, there's nothing said. And I think that's one of the main reasons why most of us Angel fans are upset with this team. Um, Off-season plans. I really think that they're looking at acquiring probably. They're probably looking for an outfielder, corner outfielder, or starting pitching probably. When if you look at this season, our real issue is hitting. Extremely inconsistent. It's been like that. Um, Not all just this year, but the last couple of years as well. It's just not working. These guys are swinging for the fences. You'll get your game here and there where they string some hits together, get on base and score their runs. But you don't see this team manufacturing runs. You're just seeing strikeouts and you're seeing these guys just swinging for it. I think that's part of them trying to make up for the loss of Shohei Ohtani. There's some mindset there or something. I don't know. It's just my guess on it, or my theory on it. It's strange that they just keep going that way. You would think a professional batting coach would come up and say, "Look, we got to get back to the fundamentals of hitting. We're not going to go up there and power off 300-footer home runs. It's just not going to happen. We have to place hit. We got to get on base, bunt, squeeze plays, all that stuff. We got to put it to work." Mike Scioscia was fantastic with orchestrating that with Mickey Hatcher. Well, these guys were on base all the time. And then you get your sluggers that would come up and just clean house. The Angels were phenomenal that year in '02 with how they would bat, the way they would come back from deficit. Even the games that look like, man, nothing's working. These guys are, they're just not hitting. That pitcher's looking dominant out there. The Angels, and then next thing you know, sixth, seventh inning, boom, here they come all the way back. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 runs, and they're back in it and they win. Now, we can't expect that every single game, of course, or every single game that we're behind, but that's hitting. In baseball, it's you focus, learn and practice small ball. And when it comes to hitting, you have to learn how to get on base. All you have to do. That's why when you get that fourth ball call to take your first base, you take it. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to be like, I didn't hit the ball. Oh well. And then you take your first base. No, take that plate, take that base. You get hit in the shoulder with a ball, take that base. Hey, I'm on base. That's what matters, and that's what they should be hungry for and try to get to is that first base. Get on the damn base. Get some runners out there. And then even you don't even have to hit home runs. Just keep swinging them in. Pitcher gets nervous, starts throwing outsiders in there, and you get bases loaded. You get runners from third running in to score. I mean, that's how you manufacture runs, and I just don't see this team ever consistently trying to do that, and it bugs the crap out of me. Who's in charge here? Who is the person calling the shots? Now, of course, it's supposed to be our batting coach, but what is he doing? I don't see it. I don't see any consistency whatsoever, and that's a big problem. Now, is it only a manager job, or is it a manager's issue, or is it the players? Do we just need better players? Are these guys just not talented? Drury just does not seem to be in it at all. We got other players as well that just don't seem to be consistent at all. Our young court, I love watching them. They at least look like they're trying out there. But it just doesn't seem like there's enough guys to really, um, manufacture those runs. You have our two big hitters that are out all the time, Trout and Rendon, and I think they're just trying to make up for that. It's just not going to work. You have to reconfigure your entire game plan if those guys are going to be out. Even when those guys are in, you got to understand that they got to get back into the game, gel with the team again, get comfortable, uh, um, get comfortable with their swing. That all takes time. And I think you just have to when these guys get hurt and they're out, it's like, okay, we need to just totally rethink this team and play a different way because we don't have our big sluggers. We need to get we need to place it. We need to get guys on base. It's just a constant thing. Pitching, of course, our pitching could use help. Starting pitching, our relief pitching has done an okay job this season. Of course, we could always take more help in that department, and I wouldn't be upset if we picked up a pitcher, but that's not, to me, the focus. I think we need to learn how to score on offense. There's just not enough. We're losing 3-0. We're losing I mean, come on, you know? Sometimes our pitchers go out there and have a hell of a game, and we lose because we can't score. It's extremely frustrating. We got our young players like Logan O'Hoppe, Zach Neto, Nolan Shanuel. These guys, I mean, they're gaining a lot of experience right now. And one thing I've always thought was important to teach a young kid in any sport, doesn't matter what sport it is, but how losing is not um, when you're developing as a player in any sport, losing is not this horrible thing. It is not something to be um, so upset about. Yes, of course, you're trying to win. Of course, we get that. But when you're learning a sport, losing is one of the most important parts of any sport. It teaches you, one, how to handle losing mentally, and two, how to improve your game and shape your game to then begin to win, to make yourself a better player, to turn things around and start to win. You need to adjust. Losing is extremely important. It sounds weird, but it is. It's part of the learning curve. It's probably one of the biggest parts. I've learned the most from losing games because that's how you figure out this is what I'm doing wrong. This is where it needs to be worked on. This is why we keep losing. And it seems like these guys don't get it. They just keep falling into the same windmill of destruction as they go on through the season. It's just it seems like they all get along with each other. It doesn't seem like there's any animosity between the players and bad attitudes or anything like that. It doesn't seem like that at all. It's just they're just not handled right. They're just not directed right. It's just they're kind of just out there. Now, these new players, I really love these guys. And if I was in charge of this team tearing down, these are the guys I'd keep and build around. This is what you want. These guys are really, really, I think they're going to be very good. And there's a lot of losing going on and a lot of frustration and a lot of crap happening with this team. That's good experience if you want to look at it in a positive spin. That's what I'm choosing to do. And I think that's something that's going to benefit them in the future. It just matters or not if our owner or general manager, is going to build around this team and help them out because they're not going to be able to do it on their own either. As it's let's say everything happens great, they're completely healthy, they never get hurt, and they're just these great players. You still need your other team to come in and help them out too. So you got to build around these guys. And I don't think um, all expensive free agents are the answer. I think they need to really look at building homegrown players up and getting this team built from the ground up. But that remains to be seen. Uh, injuries, like I said, they're so bad. I had one fan on our Halos in the Infield Facebook page chime in, and he says since 2014 we've been injury riddled. Since 2020 we've been at the top of injuries, including Trout and Rendon out extended periods of every year. My biggest wish is good health for one season to actually gauge what we got. Now that's a good point. It's hard to gauge this team fully on what it is if your guys are gone, especially your main guys, your most expensive players are out of the season. We got some good young guys. I like the culture they bring. We just need some health. Health. So next season, just like this season, that's what I ask for, health. There is no owner, GM, or manager that will bail us out if we continue with this health issue that's felt like a curse since 2014. Now, I agree with this guy. He's totally right. I'd say his name, but I didn't ask him to mention his name on YouTube. But anyway, um, he's a fan of our page, and he makes a lot of sense. We don't have a true gauge on this team of what they're capable of. You know, do the roles change if Mike Trout is healthy and is slugging? Rendon's out there too, maybe backing him out with some hits, whatever. Right? How he looked when he was with the Nationals, which I don't honestly I don't see that happening. But if he was, let's just say these two top players were playing at their at their best. Now you're looking at the other team and having them manufacture runs. Maybe the game plan's different. I don't know. It just seems like they're trying to find their Mike Trout and Rendon in these other guys, and it's just not happening. Maybe that's just part of it. Maybe it's just injury. I don't know. I think I think we're having some issues with our manager because if this was the truth, that man needs to know what to do in this situation to reconfigure this team to win with what we got, not what we could have or what we should have. But I do agree with this fan. He makes a lot of sense. It's all it's injuries. Injuries are a huge part of this problem. I mean, that's another issue already needs to look into is our health area, our health and safety team, or whatever they're called, to monitor these very expensive players. I mean, if you're shelling out hundreds of millions of dollars to a player, you think you would have top notch health instructors on these guys to make sure that they're performing at peak physical ability, no matter what their age is, and adjusting to their age and adjusting to little here's and there's that they're dealing with to make sure that they're performing at their peak every game. That's what they are. They're professionals. That's what we pay to see. We want to see the best of Mike Trout at any age. Mike Trout at 36 or 38. We want to see the best of him at that age. It doesn't seem like it just doesn't seem like any attention is being put to that. I don't know. It's like I said, we can go on and on and on about that. I know there's a lot of people on our page as well who disagree with me and think that we're just fine, that we're going to come out of this. But it's been a long time, especially if you want to go back to 2014. It's been a long time that this team has been successful. And especially in the last 3 years, that's a long time for this team to just be depressing to watch. This season's bad. I think it's possible uh, for a 96 game loss this season. We may be able to beat our old record, 1980. That was a long time ago. But you know, we this might be the team to do it. I hope not. But I mean, whether or not it is or not, I don't think it's going to change anything in upper management. I think they're just going to continue going on the same way, which always leads me to the same old quote that all of you are probably sick of. I think Artie needs to sell this team. I think we just need a new person in charge with fresh ideas, and the team needs to be absolutely and completely reimagined. And that's where I stand as far as this team goes. But I'm not going anywhere. I'm not leaving as a fan. That's for damn sure. I will go down with the ship. I forget the captain's name from the Titanic, but I'm standing right there behind that big wheel as the room is being flooded with ocean water. And I'm just going to go straight down with it and let all the pressure of the ocean crush me as I drown. Very agonizing death. Anyway, I want to thank each and every one of you for showing up and listening here for this Halo Joe podcast. I want to thank you guys for joining us at Halos in the Infield. Yes, it's extremely hard to cover this team when a lot of nothing goes on. So we all try to come and bring you the best content we possibly can. Thank you to Todd Fox. Thank you to Fernando Mendez. Thank you to both James Gonzalez and Milo. Thank you, Sir Dominique. Thank you, the great Rob, or like I like to call the Rob. We want to thank all of these guys for coming out and doing what they do with this channel. It's a great channel. This is where the true Angel fans come to. It's the greatest show on earth. I hope you guys join us all the time, every day. We're on here every day. Check us out. Subscribe, like, hit the notification bell. Check us out on Spotify, on Believe, BLEAV. Check us out on there as well for all of these podcasts, audio version, in case you can't watch it and you're on the road driving to work, or you need to kill some time, or you're a driver, or that maybe that's what you do for work, and all you could do is listen. Throw us on and listen to us. We've got beautiful, silky voices. It's just tantalizing to the ear. Anyway, I'm going on and on. Thank you so much for joining me this Monday morning. You guys have a great week. It's going to be hot. Make sure you stay hydrated out there. Make sure you stay shaded. Sunblock, please. And most importantly, stay moist. I want to thank all of you again. We really appreciate you. And I have my outro here, but I don't know, for some reason I didn't have it queued up. I don't know why. But anyway, thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Your angels say okay.